Hi, I'm Somer Hackley.
And I am Zen Mak, and this is the art of search, hiring in the age of AI.
All right, here we are again. So excited. So, Zen, I wanted to introduce you to Gina Barge. So, I don't know if you follow Gina online on LinkedIn. Her posts are just so inspirational and they're all real. You can tell she wrote them, which I love. And she's a principal with JM Search. I've known her for years, and her focus is on go to market, on technology, all kinds of exciting things. So, Gina, thanks for joining us today. Happy to have you.
Thank you so much for having me. It's such an honor to be on this podcast.
Absolutely. Yeah. Go for it, Zen.
Lovely to meet you. Well,
Pleasure.
let's jump right in
Okay,
and let's talk
great.
about hiring and AI and kind of taking a step back for a quick second when we're thinking about
Mm,
hiring, like when we position ourselves as like hiring experts, right? Really not kind of using that term order taker when engaging with someone if they're saying, "Hey, Gina, I need help. Help me find somebody," right? Like, how do you maybe a good question would be like, where do leaders need to be kind of pushed on or
mhm.
challenged? How do you do it in a way that preserves the relationship and at the same time, major takeaways for hiring managers to think about right at the start?
Well, first of all, the thing that can be really at the beginning of a search that can add a lot of pressure is the time frame of the hiring manager. So sometimes as recruiters, we'll get called when they've tried everything and they need a candidate like yesterday to have their butt in a chair, and then that impacts the timing that they impose on you. And so I don't like to operate that way as much because then they get really directive about where this person should come from. I like to have the time to review the market, talk to them about what they might need, as opposed to, I think this person's going to come from here, here, and here. I want to see four candidates. What you got? And it's like, well, that's not really how we work or how we like to work as executive recruiters.
So
So that's your, oh,
how do you do that eloquently? Like so they said we need, we've been at this for 3 months. We've had it posted. We've had internal TA on it. Maybe they've even used other firms. And then they're like, Gina, save us. You know?
yeah. I will
SOS.
I will say, well, let's take a beat and figure out, can we see what you've tried? Can
Mm,
I get a sense of the list that you've called through? What hasn't worked? And let's do a scorecard and see maybe how we might proceed.
yeah.
Like, and I try to get them to take a step back and to say, look, we're not gonna hire a person next week. I mean, that's not even why you call someone like me. And you, Summer. It's like that's not why
Yeah.
they bring us in. They bring us in for our expertise about the market. So I encourage them to take a beat and to actually let us analyze the market.
Yeah. It's so
Yeah.
important.
It
Otherwise, you
really
set those false expectations up front, like, not a problem. We'll fill it in. I
is.
already know three people for you. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. So,
Sometimes, though,
yeah, go
oh,
ahead, Zen.
sorry, I
No,
want to
go
jump
for
in.
it.
I find that finding the reason why it's open, like if there was somebody in that role previously, then I think you get more ingrained, like just ideas around what a replacement person should look like. Find me
Hmm.
another, you know, name that person who left, right? And sometimes that kind of is a barrier when I kind of encounter these types of searches. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. If they're trying to fill the exact same shoes that another person was in for years, then that isn't, you're behind the eight ball already on a search.
Yeah.
Because, in fact, I don't love bringing new candidates in when a client's already fallen in love with someone because they're
Mm,
never going to live up to that person. And I had a search recently. There was a woman who had been in the role for 30 years and retired, and she was beloved. And so anyone who came in behind her was probably never going to be as well revered as she was. But then you had to say, okay, well, let's focus on the things that you'd like to have changed when she was in the seat. Let's talk about that.
hmm
Where could
hmm
there have been improvements? Like
Yeah.
where can there be some innovation? And if you ask those questions, then sometimes they'll come up with something interesting to share that will help you open the aperture a bit in your search.
Mm.
That's great. I also like what you said earlier about show us the work, like show us what you've done already on the search, and
Mhm.
you can really save a lot of time looking through that. And yeah, because I've inherited many searches over the years that have been open for a while, and even honestly internally, right? Like working on a search that a colleague passes over, and they're like, "Please, like we need another set of eyes on this thing," and
Mhm.
just seeing where everyone's been already can really, really help. So no, I love all of that. So I have also I have another question for you around clients, and sometimes you mentioned opening the aperture. So sometimes when they try to open the aperture for whatever reason, they say, "Oh, you know what? We're open to a step up candidate." And do you think that that's something that is aspirational, or do you think that's something that is real? What would you say in your experience?
It depends on where that candidate will be positioned in the team. So we do
Hmm.
executive level recruiting, right? So if you're looking at a step up candidate, you have to look at who's going to be reporting into that candidate. Because what you don't want to do is bring in a candidate that's at a lower level than the person that's going to be reporting to them. So then I like to always examine, okay, well, who's reporting to them and take a look at their backgrounds because obviously you need to be at a higher level than the people that are their direct reports. And then that's when you see if they really do have a tolerance for a step up candidate.
Yeah.
Sometimes it doesn't make sense for their organization. And sometimes they just say things. Like the other thing they'll say is, oh, we don't mind someone who's not from our industry, which sometimes fine. Okay. It depends on if they need a functional specialist. Like I
Mm,
do a lot of go-to-market work. So maybe sometimes they need a functional, like a marketer who was maybe demand gen led or something like that. They need that functional specialty. So therefore the industry is kind of number two and the specialty is number one. Um, but then what's the ramp up period? Because if they have to fill that seat immediately, then a new person will not have the time to ramp up on
yeah.
the industry and handle the functional specialty. So you have to ask a lot of questions, is my point.
Yeah, that's huge. And I love what you said about looking at the current candidates, like versus
Mhm.
just or the direct reports to the vacancy, because
Mhm.
it's not just hiring in a vacuum. And those people, you don't want to fill this and have them look up and be, why am I layered under this person? And
Exactly.
have them
And
start
revolt.
looking, or yeah, then you have another problem. So no, that's so huge. And I love the cross industry thing too. I think yeah, it really depends on the role. And I've seen, as I do a lot of tech searches, and so it's either or. It's like we need this industry experience, or it's like please don't bring us industry experience because we need more innovation, we need more scale, we need more resiliency, whatever it may be. So yeah, it really just depends. So I like that. Um, so let's talk about. Oh, Zen, did you have something to add?
Yeah,
Yeah, go for it.
was I was actually going to go down the AI track for a
Yeah,
quick
do it.
second as we're kind of doing search in this day and age. Have you been seeing a lot of demand or ask for it just native AI knowledge or use of AI tools, even in your day-to-day operational work? Like, is that coming up? I'm just curious to see what you're seeing out there.
You know how AI, are you asking how AI is like infiltrated into the recruiting process or for
Both.
functions that we're recruiting? Okay. So for the recruiting process, I love using AI because it helps me be present in my conversations with clients and candidates alike. I used to spend a lot of time being just a scribe on my calls where I'm typing feverishly as people are talking, and I don't have time or the bandwidth to kind of back up on questions that I should ask. AI with the note taking tools that are built specifically for recruiting are fantastic because it takes over that function. I think there are nuances that are further along that I don't think AI can take over just yet. I'm not sure if it will be able to in the future, but there are things that like really kind of talk about the motivation of the candidates, how the candidate and client will have chemistry. Those are the things that can't be impacted or can't be kind of taken over with AI just yet. Hopefully, we'll all be able to keep our jobs and be able to
Yep.
to not be completely replaced, but if I'm able to focus on some of the administrative chores by the use of AI, then I'm all for it because it allows me to be more strategic in the things that where I'm really valuable. So we're seeing a lot of that. Also seeing a lot of I do a lot of marketing and sales work, go to market and also do a lot of like president, CEO. But in the marketing and sales searches, I'm noticing that they're trying to figure out like how those executives use AI, if they use AI,
Hmm.
if they are kind of tantalized by shiny new tools meaning AI, or if they have real processes behind them. So that's been a big question, especially in the sales roles that I've been working on lately.
Yeah, I know you've said in the past that with AI, people are worrying about the wrong thing. Can you share more about that?
Yeah, people are really worried about like, hey, is AI going to take over my whole job? Instead of worrying about or grasping rather how I can use AI to enhance what I do. Because I think that's the best use of AI. Like I said before, it's kind of this, what can AI take off my hands so that I can elevate my position? Like, how can I be a better recruiter because I'm using AI? Can it craft things for me that I would spend hours on, which will allow me
Hmm.
then to build deeper relationships with candidates and clients? Can it help me identify more business development targets? Where can it augment my current strengths as a recruiter? And I think that's the thing people should be worried about rather than whether they're going to be replaced in the near term.
Yeah, I'm with you. I like the podcast because I get to have conversations like this with Zen and you, and I'm adopting AI, but I'm definitely a cautious person. But the more I hear about it, and I do view it as I'm not outsourcing my brain, right? Like you were saying, like how do we help ourselves, right? So how do
Right.
I view it as a sidekick and help me craft my thinking or give it a problem and like, yeah, be a coworker, right? In a certain way. So yeah, there's a lot of cool things that it can do.
Yeah, there's a lot of cool things, and I think people should really stop letting it write job specs for
I
them.
agree, please. Yes. Yes. It was great for maybe a week when it was new.
Like,
And
ooh, yeah,
yeah,
but there's so much language bloat,
Oh
I
my
know.
God.
And
and
then the resumes match and then it's terrible. And it's, yeah.
Hmm.
the
Hmm.
resumes match. It gets things wrong. I was working on something. It got something wrong earlier today because I was just like,
Hmm.
see what happens with AI. It was one of
Yeah.
my note taking apps, and it it got two candidates confused, which doesn't usually do. But
Wow.
unless you're really paying attention,
You have to. Yeah.
yeah, you have to pay
Yeah.
attention.
Yeah,
So,
I read some statistic that I think only 9% of people actually check that it's correct or something. They just take it at face value, like, here, done. It's like, no, 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 it made up half of that. Or like you said, mixed up candidates. And if you confront it, like, why did you do that? Oh, I'm sorry.
oh, you're absolutely right. It's what it tells you. It's like, well, if you knew I was right,
Good catch.
Good
yeah.
Yeah.
catch. Yeah. No.
And then you're like, stop agreeing with me. Did you? I don't know if you saw this. This is kind of funny, and kind of embarrassing at the same time for this person. Someone at the Chicago Sun Times, I think last summer, was doing a summer reading list.
Oh, I did
And
see that.
did you see
Yeah.
that? And let
Mhm.
AI write it and made up all these books.
Yeah.
They're
Just
like
fabricated the whole
must
list.
reads. I
Yeah,
know. I
the
know.
whole list.
Yeah. Well, I've done that with candidates. I'll be like, "Can you tell me the top blah 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 types of people out in the market?" And it'll confidently give you names, And then
Right.
Like,
And then
you're
you'll
like,
ask,
"Where'd
did
you
you make
get
that
these?"
up? And it's like, well, I did make that up. Well,
you're
that is
like,
really what I needed.
It's the best.
And so right now, I don't think sourcing and screening is quite at the level that we need, or the level that we owe our clients.
Right. The comp.
There really should not be. Our clients pay us a good amount of money to put our brains to the activity of actually finding them a candidate, and I have really not seen a good AI replacement for that yet. There's still the element of being together in person and make a
yeah.
human assessment that's going to be present for executive recruiting for, I don't know, at least the time being.
I love it. Well, I think that is it. Anything else to add?
Now, this is
Leave it there.
fun.
Yeah, this was
This is
fun.
fun.
Well, thank you so much for
You know,
joining. And
thank
yeah,
you
look
for
forward to
having
catching up
me.
again soon.
Absolutely. I
Thank
hope so.
you.
All
Okay.
right. Take care, everyone.
Take care.